Hello and welcome to our midweek conversation at First Baptist Sweetwater. My name is Jerry Hendricks. I'm here with Teak Hamilton. And Teak, the question for this week is pumpkin spice latte or not?
No.
Well, we talked about it a little bit in church.
You talked about it.
I talked about it.
And I'm pretty sure there were some groans that went up in the pews.
There are people there's big fans.
But they were in Houston. They weren't here this week.
It's
just one.
That's true. We're not going to give him a shout out.
No.
Not if he's absent.
Nope. No, there's ongoing jokes about, you get your pumpkin spice oil change, your pumpkin spice communion bread. We went to Cece's yesterday with the youth, and they had pumpkin spice cinnamon rolls. We almost walked right out.
So that was part of my story yesterday morning.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't talk to Sharon. I didn't ask Sharon about this, which is probably wisdom on my part for once, because she had picked up at the grocery store pumpkin spice cinnamon rolls, and she's in there glazing them, and I go, I don't like pumpkin spice. And so
did you try one?
No.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
When I saw it, if we hadn't already paid, we would have gone to like Gaddy's.
Yeah. Well, it is really interesting how the world is passionate about it, and so I wonder, just in thinking about the pumpkin spice latte thing or pumpkin spice thing, was it a thing before the pumpkin spice latte and Starbucks?
No,
I don't know that it was a thing.
I wouldn't think so. I don't mean my grandma made cinnamon rolls all my life.
Yeah,
and I never remember pumpkin spice cinnamon roll.
Yeah,
and she makes really good cinnamon rolls.
Let's go take us a step further. Do you like pumpkin pie?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
I'll eat pumpkin pie.
I like sweet potato pie.
I've never had that one.
But all my life of cleaning out pumpkins to carve them, I don't know. There's a mental block there if I'm not eating what I've had my hands in.
Maybe that's it. I think I've carved a pumpkin once.
Oh, no. We did it all growing up. Stacy and I do it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So next thing, just from Sunday, just kind of filling in the gaps from Sunday. Advent's 8 weeks away.
Yes, it is.
Did you hear me say that?
Yes.
I didn't know if you caught that.
And it's funny, at lunch today, someone else mentioned Christmas and all that. They said, it's funny we're talking about that. I was like, I've been talking about it for a long time. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Christmas is here.
Well, I don't remember where I saw the publications. It seemed like it was a video of a church, because I don't know why I was watching some other churches' videos, but probably to get some pointers. But they were already talking about Operation Christmas Child, and I go, wow, they're really getting ahead of this. It must be a big deal in their church. And then I look at the calendar, I'm going, oh yeah, it's time to start talking about it. So I know that you're the one that takes the lead on that.
Yeah, Molly and I do, but
yeah,
Molly not so much this year. She's had a baby.
I couldn't remember how many boxes. We had a goal last year.
We did. I think it was 125 last year.
Oh my gosh.
And we brought in a lot. Yeah. More than our goal. We beat our goal.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff's coming up. I did text a friend this morning that, you reach everything is kind of rolling well. You want to start the semester well, which I feel like we have kind of adjusted to the massive promotion we had from children's ministry to student ministry of so many kids. But so we're kind of at that point where at this very point, the first Sunday in October, things move so fast.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know if school systems feel that, because football is not even in district yet, are they? Not all schools.
No, I mean those bigger 8 and 10 team divisions might be, but not the 5 league.
And not that I measure my calendar by football.
No, I don't. So yeah,
I do a bit.
But yeah, teachers are just like trying their best to get to past Halloween and to that Thanksgiving break. I feel like Halloween is like that time that they're like, if we can survive Halloween, we can survive anything.
Well, apparently I learned that at least Sarah, my daughter in Abilene, they have a fall break around Columbus Day. Well, they're calling it that, I think, or she called it that.
Instead of Columbus Day.
They're off Friday and they're off Columbus Day on Monday.
Huh.
So
I think Stacy gets Columbus Day off. I don't know about Friday before.
Yeah. I think that it seems to me it's a new thing. I don't know. I just know Sharon's not subbing that day. So
there's nothing going on.
That's the best I can do on the school calendar. But anyways, we had a packed Sunday with the children singing, which
Right.
you and I talked this morning, was it was just a great scene.
Yeah.
With them
It was
staged
legitimate
in
leading
front.
worship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If y'all haven't seen that, go back and look at our video of that, and while it's still up, and it's pretty neat to see them. They actually led with a song, and then they did their own song, and they'll be
great.
singing again for us in November.
Right. And that's fun.
Yeah.
I used to say it that's always fun for me because you never know what'll happen.
Right.
This time it was like legitimately fun because they did really, really good. And there were some really cool moments in there where, like Maggie with Camille. So you got a little kid who's actually getting to have a little part of a solo in that.
And I did not make comment on this because I knew it would divert from what I was going to be talking about, but a lot of movement Sunday during that kid's song.
Yes.
And so I didn't turn around to see if there was a mirrored movement in the congregation, but the kids got with it.
They did, and that's all on video also.
Yes, it is.
There are a lot of phones in the air taking video.
That's so
Sunday.
true. Well, that part was the fun part. You took a trip with students to Abilene, and y'all went roller skating. You had an interesting observation on that.
That is the one sport that adults beast on kids. I mean, because kids today don't know how to roller skate. They didn't grow up with the little Fisher-Price 4 wheels on rocks and that kind of stuff. They didn't do that. You know, we were alive when those rollerblades came out, and we had to have them. Well, I lived in the country, so it was our little asphalt country road. If you could do that, you could do anything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we got out there, and a lot of them were skates just going back and forth and trying to go. And so we were doing a lot of teaching them to skate. And one kid goes, "Teak, you're going backwards." I was like, I mean, like, that's what we learned to do. I was just hoping not to fall. I did notice that the number of times they fell, they bounced back up. I think if I fell as hard as some of them as hard as some of them fell, I would have been done. I would have been like, all right, let's go turn in the skates. But they had some wipeouts that were impressive. And we had some, they had the old races. They didn't do the hokey pokey, which I was disappointed in. But they had the wheelbarrow race and all that. It was fun to watch.
Well, a lot of folks are not aware of the skating place in Abilene, but it's a staple. I mean, it's been there for the 20 plus years that I had lived there.
And they were really good to us as a group. I appreciated it.
Yeah, so glad y'all got to do that. And then in our worship, we talked about giving and what it means. I probably didn't cover enough. I thought about this later. Okay, so one of the things I brought up was that, there's the assumption that people go home and talk about the pastor. That's not, I don't know if that's for real or not, but at least that's a part of the stereotype.
Right.
And
but it was the funniest quote.
I think that people are surprised that Sharon and I talk about the pastor after church. And so, I mean, we do. And so,
that was one of those awkward moments where you said that, it hit me, and I had a literal laugh out loud moment, which I think there were a lot around me who then laughed at me for having laughed out loud as I did.
It did get a bit
funny.
of a response, and I don't think I'd ever thought that or said that before. But anyways, it was that. So we were talking about it, and I think one of the things that I missed, because sometimes in here I like to cover the things I missed, was the sense of giftedness in terms of spiritual gifts and giving.
Right.
And part of that was our church council had just finished working on the budget for the new year that will be presented next month in our leadership meetings, and then before the church in November for church conference. And so we wanted to have a session or a message that was wired around what giving looks like.
Right.
And we haven't, the latter is such a clear way of presenting that, and we haven't done that in a long time. And so my mind was on that, doing that with clarity. And I feel like I kind of did a disservice to the idea that there is something unique about that spiritual gift of giving and what that looks like in an individual. And I would compare it to a person who has what we would say is the gift of evangelism. That all we know in discipleship that all of us are responsible or sharing the gospel.
Right.
But there's some people who are just very gifted with it. And I in ministry, I had a friend that was like that. And so giving, in terms of spiritual giftedness, I think looks similar to that.
Right.
That all of us give because that's a part of being a disciple and following Jesus. But there are some that just have this extra special gift. And it's not the amount of the gift or the resources, but it's just that spiritual gift of giving. And I think it's hard to describe exactly what that would look like. I think it thrives in some element of creativity, where people are just exceptional in doing that. And it's not just having the heart for that too. I think it's all those things, maybe where they start to stack, and then there's just something that's unique about it, and you know that that's how a person is gifted.
Yeah, that's an interesting distinction, because you talk about if you're a disciple of Jesus, you're a giver.
Right.
You're giving. But that idea that there's a gift of being a giver also, it doesn't let you out of giving.
Right.
Like, you should still be giving. But there's something about it that it's just natural, and they find unique ways to express that also.
Yeah. Well, and that would be the way that we would view all the gifts, that there's those that are gifted in certain areas, there's that unique expression to that. And one of the words that I've kind of locked in on here, or that I've learned while I'm serving here, is that idea of uniqueness. That kind of, I think, creates some freedom so that we're not trying to strive to do as someone else or be like someone else, but we discover something within ourselves, what's most natural for us. And there's more longevity and health in that.
Yeah.
So,
agreed.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, and the ladder is very helpful when you start to see kind of the next steps that you take, because really it includes everyone.
Yeah, just getting on the ladder.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite visuals you use. And preaching every Sunday, it's hard to find visuals for everything. But that visual of a ladder, and then actually putting it on stage and putting those steps up, because everybody knows what a ladder is used for.
Right.
And to get the job done, you eventually have to get on the ladder. And so that, just taking that first step to be a first-time giver and then make your way up, it's a big part of it.
Well, and the one last thing, and again, Sharon and I talked about this in our pastor conversation after church and after lunch, that the passage was a really, really neat passage. I've not ever used that passage here, and I was thinking later, I go, that would really be one of those that when we do the message on the budget and so forth, that would be a really good set of verses.
Right.
And what I was struck by was, so the passage that Paul used there, and just his conversational tone was impressive. Yeah. Because the way that he approached it, he approached a problem in a very diplomatic way, not being as straightforward as what we've come to expect Paul to be. Right. Yeah. Particularly with Corinthians too.
It wasn't a typical passage that you would think of using, but it fit really well.
Yeah. Really enjoyed it. I think the struggle I have being a rookie pastor is that
you can't be a 7-year rookie.
Is I know that on days like that, there's a specific part of the message that's supposed to be intentional towards our church and life, and yet I also feel the burden and responsibility of a sermon, and so I know I don't do well probably with that combination often, and lean more towards continuing to just sermonize the best I can rather than hit on the issues that are before us. But
well, we call it a conversation each week that you start, and I think it started.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like even the conversations we've had with people in the office this morning, which is Monday when we're recording this, prove that has been a good conversation. We've had at least 3 different people that I remember who have commented on it. Yeah. And I think I commented on it right after service that it was time for the youth to go to Abilene and talk about the pastor.
Well, thank you, Teek.
You're welcome.
I'm glad we covered that, and glad that you were able to share with me the throwing under the bus.
We didn't throw you under the bus. We drove the bus, but we didn't throw you under.
Oh goodness!
Well, it was good.
It was a lot of fun. We had a good time with working through that, and just a great Sunday of worship. And then this next Sunday we have the last message, which is a unique set of text that is related to spiritual gifts. It's from 1 Peter, and so I look forward to getting into that and kind of wrapping this up, and hopefully helping us gain a little bit better understanding for our own church about how we might see those gifts portrayed through the life of our church. So
1 Peter, that's a place we don't go often either.
no, it's true.
So you're really diving deep.
Sure.
I like it.
All right. Well,
Were these lectionary passages, or did you find these?
no, they
This is
weren't.
just part of the series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
anyways, it's been fun chatting today, and look forward to seeing you on Sunday, and hope that you will be able to join us 10:30, First Baptist Church, Sweetwater.
See you then.